how did your organization cope with remote work arrangements? What are the challenges, and what other things that did you do to overcome them? I'll start with you, Cecil. Of course, the banking industry is one of the industries that thrived throughout this pandemic.
Yeah, as a universal bank with a social mission, the challenge really for Land Bank at the onset of the pandemic is how to ensure uninterrupted banking services to our customers under a pandemic scenario that limited mobility and also with very strict health protocols. And another challenge was we were looking for ways to meet the expectations of our customers that were rapidly shifting to digital channels, and we know that there are a lot of fintechs out there who can actually also serve the digital financial services requirements of customers. So the challenge was how to keep them in the land bank ecosystem. And another very serious challenge was how to cope with the heightened cyber threats,
Yes.
you know, to make the customers, the transactions of the customers secure. So first off, to meet those challenges, we ramp up on the expansion and improvement of our digital channels. And we also looked at partnering with other service providers to increase the touch points for our customers. So we partnered with agent banking institutions or partners. These are the cash-rich businesses in the remote areas to make sure that our services to the underserved communities will continue. And we also partnered with 7-Eleven to increase the number of our ATMs. And we beefed up our cybersecurity defenses. So on the human resource, we adopted alternative work arrangements. So at the height of the pandemic, probably 80 or 90% of our workforce were working in their homes. And so we relied heavily on the VPNs to ensure that the information assets of the bank are secured even if we allowed our personnel to work from their houses. And we crafted a platoon-like work arrangement, making sure that our branches are adequately manned because tellers obviously cannot work from home. So we have to have enough tellers to man our branches and attend to the customers that needed to go to our branches.
So we did have to have people on site. We had people who still had to go out, not on site, and we had office-based workers. So for us, across the different companies, we focus on the 3 C's. So care, continuity, and cash. So we already had quite a robust healthcare, in-house healthcare system, so we really had to pivot that and adjust that and make sure that everyone is safe. Whether they're at home or whether they're going to site. And then really looking at continuity. There are a lot of people who depend on Shell, so making sure that we continue the supply of high quality goods and services. And of course, with the restrictions, the lockdowns, there was big impact to mobility, big impact to the industries that we support. And also, I mean, even before the pandemic, you already had weakening refinery margins because of the imbalance of supply and demand. And that got impacted as well. So we need to look after that. So really looking after that moment, but then also making sure that we are financially resilient in the future. On remote working, so we did have to continue to be attuned and listen to what was happening externally and to our employees as well. I mean, different ways of working, equipping people to work in a virtual remote environment, different leadership styles, engagement methods as well, and then adjusting in terms of when we would return to the office, and then future of work. I think now for office-based staff, then we are functioning, work arrangements are more in the hybrid working arrangements, maximizing, I mean, anchored in the office, but then really purposeful maximizing collaboration, problem solving, innovation when you're in the office, building culture and teams, and where you need to have meetings with, as you support other countries, and that can be done at home. So we're doing a mix. Depends on what is needed by our users and customers. And for us, as we're going back to the office, and also looking at, I guess, ambidextrous leadership in terms of how you're managing on-site physical with virtual or both, and looking at our office spaces in terms of how to improve, optimize, and maximize productivity. Maybe shifting from more collaboration spaces over more individual desks. So that continues to be a journey, and I think there is more to come on that one. So it's quite good to experiment and learn, continue to learn at this point in time.
Every single group, every single strategic business unit does have a sustainability in their scorecard. So every president has sustainability in their scorecard. Maybe I can just cite a few examples of what has been done. For example, Robinson's Land, all of their malls already have solar panels, and about 20% of all the energy consumed, for example, of Robinson's malls are renewable energy. And then URC, of course we are in JG Petrochemicals, and while, we realize that the use of plastic is necessary, but it is the waste that, the plastic waste that has to be treated properly. And knowing that, URC, Universal Robina Corporation, started a cross-BU agile project with the other business units like Robinson's Land and Robinson's Retail, and they are about to roll out, for example, a collection hubs across the malls and the retail groups to have proper disposal and recovery of these plastic, for example. And then URC also has been working with potato farmers to make sure that yields of their crops are much more efficient. Also, we've been investigating the use of more of packaging that is more environmentally friendly. So even Cebu Pacific has been investigating the use of more sustainable aviation fuel. But we do recognize that it is very critical for companies, especially conglomerates like us, to be part of the solution for this sustainable future.
I think that insight is extremely important for a leader. You need to understand what is going on above ground and, of course, the undercurrents that are at play. I think at the very basic level, philosophically, the leader should, at least in my present position, should regard this job as a stewardship. Natural capital of the country doesn't belong to you in the DNR. It belongs to everyone in the country, and it belongs to itself, natural capital being what it is. And without that sense of stewardship, it's very easy to lose your way. Because at the end of the day, what is the core value that drives your integrity and your level of service to those that are needing your support and your actual particular set of skills, as well as your permits, as Ma'am was saying. No, we do need to have a sense of stewardship. And secondly, I think at this point, we cannot help but be transdisciplinary. In academia, we are structured in silos. And so each discipline does what they would like to do in terms of the particular direction that the research and academics would like to take it. But at this point, knowledge needs to cross boundaries. And it's not just being multidisciplinary, it's being transdisciplinary. And trans there being learning from communities themselves. Local knowledge, traditional knowledge in particular, has very much to do with the way we manage risk today. And understanding and respecting that, as well as culture and identity, making that part of the way you make decisions. I think that the respect for that needs to be part and parcel of one's leadership style.
How does Boundless resonate with you?
So in terms of boundless, I think, if you imagine yourself having an edge, then you can describe what boundless means. In terms of, I guess, my own personal trajectory, I've never felt there were limitations to what one could do if you really love the work and if you love what you want to do in the future. And so for me, I would say boundless means no limits.
I was actually going to say limitless, but since Sec Tony already said limitless, so for me it is daring to reimagine the future.
I can achieve many things when I work with a team that's really gelled together. It's about working together, I think, with a strong, passionate, and united team, and then you feel that you can achieve things and things are limitless. That's what I think.
For banks like Land Bank, as a national development financial institution, it's easy to measure our performance in terms of numbers. Like a typical bank. So our net income, our liquidity, our capital ratios, there are numbers attached to those metrics. And boundless to me can be equated with immeasurable, no measure of outcomes. And that is what is important for organizations like Land Bank, more than the numbers that are imposed on us, not just by our board, but by our regulators. What the outcome, the quality of lives of the people that we serve, the communities that we serve, would be very important. But how can you put numbers to the quality of life? So probably later on some mathematicians or scientists will come up with numbers, but right now it's the possibilities of improving the lives of our customers is boundless.